Good.
We off mute?
Yeah.
All right.
Off mute.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Manhattan Community Board 2's Street Activities and Resiliency Committee for July 2024. Some of the attendees are filtering in. I'm going to give it one more minute, and then we'll get started. Thank you.
That's good.
Hello.
We're just waiting for you.
Struggling with quorum of it.
Yeah, Ed is going to join, so that should be a quorum when he joins. And I think Rocio is supposed to come. Mark, is there any way you could just check with, can you just check with Ed and make sure he's not having technical problems? Oh, okay. No, all right, we have quorum now. Okay.
Hello.
I actually corresponded with him earlier today and he seems to be okay.
Okay.
I'll double check.
All right. Hi, Rocio. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Again, this is CB2's July Street Activities and Resiliency Committee. I'm Will Benish. I'm the chair of the committee. Here in the room, we have committee members Erica Olson, Rocio Sands, and Brian Pape. And we have on the screen also committee members Ed Ma and Michael Levine.
Thank you.
Thanks both for joining. So we do have a quorum now and we'll get started. For those who are not familiar with our format, we typically review street activities that occur within CB2, as well as from time to time review resiliency, environment, and sanitation related matters. We have 13 applications on our agenda tonight. We always go by chronological order, so that's what we will do here. When I call out your event, if you are in the attendee list, if you could please raise your hand, we will promote you. We will then ask if you could speak for just a couple of minutes about your event. The board will then ask questions to follow up with you, and then we'll open it up to members of the public for question and comment as well. And so without further ado, let's get started. Our first agenda item is the Furby Was Here activation, Astor Place Plaza. Please raise your hand if you're here for that. Okay, one moment. Okay. Great. Okay, so it looks like we have Olivia and Adam. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We appreciate it. If you can go ahead and get started, please.
Hi, thanks for having me. So we will be starting load-in around 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. This event is an activation at the plaza, and it will not have any giveaways or celebrities present. There will be no noise or sound. It's just going to be a scene set up for photography for people who walk by. There will be a brand ambassador there the entire time and one security guard there the entire time to watch the event and direct people how to stand to photograph. There is a QR code that is within the scene, and that QR code just leads to the product page to purchase a Furby. So the design of the build is a 10 by 10 square that sits on the ground. That is just a scenic painted finish. And On top of that, we will have props stations on top that will all be mechanically fastened into the 10 by 10 square. So they'll just be screwed down into the surface. It will be stanchioned off with traffic posts. So nobody will be able to walk into the 10 by 10 square. They'll just be able to observe it from the outside.
Okay, so it's essentially like just a sculpture or an art sort of installation backdrop?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and so no amplified sound, no real event or any kind of special activation occurring. It's just going to sit there for a day?
Yep, it's just for people to walk by, take photos, and to promote brand awareness. But people passing by will not be like moving through the space. It's just a sculpture.
Okay, and it's so you're going to set it up, but prior to 6 a.m. and then what does the takedown look like?
It will be up for 12 hours. So we will begin taking it down around 9 p.m. that night on Wednesday night. And it will all be completely removed by midnight.
Okay. Have you coordinated with the Village Alliance on this? Are they aware of it?
I think maybe Adam has. If Adam is here, maybe he can
Yes.
speak to that more.
Yes, definitely. The client's Amplified Marketing. They have signed the agreement with the Village Alliance and have already settled up with their concessions fee and a certificate of insurance.
Okay, great. Okay. Does anyone on the committee have?
By 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, is there a reason it has to start so early AM? Does it take a while to set up? Could we maybe push that back? Or I don't know how loud the setup's going to be. Maybe you could give some color there.
The setup will start actually at 2 a.m. for this location. And this only sound will just be drills. There won't be any use of saws or anything. It will just be a drill. And it should be done roughly within like 2 hours.
Drills at 5 o'clock.
Like a hand drill, or I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, a hand drill.
2 o'clock in the morning is when you're going to start drilling?
So why if it's going to be up for 12 hours, why can't you start a little later?
Maybe Adam can speak to this a little bit more, but this event will have similar like sister events that we'll also be installing overnight. So we will start with this location.
It's very minimal noise. Everything is basically just a prop. They just want to be up and ready to go by 6 a.m. because it's geared towards children, and they know that a lot of kids are getting walked and are about it at early in the morning.
Do you have any other questions?
Well,
Yes. Can you tell us where this is in relation to the cube? Where is it located?
It's located in front of the cube.
In front of the cube, so people will still be able to walk around it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
so according to the application, it says setup time is 5 a.m. Now you were telling us it's 2 a.m. Which one is it?
This one will start at 2.
Yeah, it's at 2. Oftentimes, the schedules change and the mayor's office doesn't always update the updated times to the actual application. So we have to file a little bit, not to exact when it's actually filed, but then it gets adjusted throughout the process.
So you've adjusted it with SAPO?
Yes.
Do you have any other?
Are there any, how many withdrawn? There are people living in that area, and how loud Everything is relative, of course. You said it's not going to be very loud. What does that really mean? Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's really going to be fairly quiet. We just have to use a drill a few times, maybe like 10 times total, a hand drill, very quick, just to mechanically fasten the props down to the base substrate so that they don't get knocked over or blown over or something during the day.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to public now. We have one person with their hand raised, so I'm gonna promote you so you can talk. 1 second. Olivia, if you could just stay on as well, because we have, I think, one question from the public. Well, I tried to promote you, Erica. You would have to accept if you have. Erica, did you have a question or comment? I think she lowered her hand. Okay. All right. Do we have anyone else? Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question or comment. Okay. Thank you very much. We will move on to the next one. Appreciate your time.
You have something in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a standard fee for the plaza, so we can talk about that, but it's the same for each plaza activation depending on the size. I don't think anyone from the Village Alliance is here. So, okay. The next is Kendra Scott Food Truck, July 11th, green between Broome and Spring. Okay. Dolly, I've promoted you.
Hi, how's everyone? Just 1 sec. Okay.
Thanks
Hi,
for
everyone.
joining. Good to
Thanks
see you. Yeah.
You too. I have a quick deck. I'm not sure if Lauren shared it, but if not, I can just pull it up really quick. Great. So my name is Dolly Nunez. I am on the experiential team at Vector Media, and I am here representing Kendra Scott. They are looking to do a branded food truck, branded ice cream truck this Thursday, July 11th, to celebrate their collaboration with Disney. They are promoting a new collection featuring 10 different pieces of jewelry outside of their Kendra Scott store on Green Street in Soho. Let's see. So again, it would be for this Thursday, July 11th, right in front of their store. They have 2 different entrances, but they preferred to park the truck on Green Street. And the activation will take place between 3:30 to 8:30 p.m. or while supplies last. We don't anticipate it running till 8:30. Usually we run out of ice or supplies before then, so it'll probably be over by like 7 p.m. honestly. This is where we're looking to park the food truck. We're looking to load in at 3:30. I know that on our application, we said that we would load in at 4 a.m. That's not the case. We're actually going to be at another location in Midtown for the morning hours, and then we're going to make our way over to the Kendra Scott store as our last stop. We will probably have someone from our team perhaps start holding our spot down at around 10 a.m. just because even if we put up no parking signs, that doesn't really stop New Yorkers from taking our spot. Even with a permit. So we'll get there around 3:30 with the truck. We'll open the truck up at 4 p.m. and then it'll really be until supplies last. Once we run out of ice cream, we're just gonna pull off. We're gonna have trash on hand and we'll get rid of any trash at our commissary. There will be no amplified sound. We'll have some stanchions for line management, but that's it as far as like anything on the sidewalk. All they're giving away is complimentary soft serve ice cream to match the colors of their collection, which is this pink and yellow color. And they just really want to get folks excited about the collection and try to drive traffic into the store and just generate revenue for this particular line. And that's really it. Nothing much more than that.
Great, thank you. And how many people do you expect to come? Do you know how many samples are going to be there?
Yeah, we only have 250 samples for that stop. So we're only expecting 250 people passing by during those hours.
Is it in a wrapper? Sorry, can I speak?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Is it in a wrapper or is it like a?
It's a soft serve ice cream.
Gotcha. So the trash is mostly just if people don't finish it. Oh, it's in a cup, not a cone. I don't know, I just assumed a cup.
Yeah, it's in a branded cup it's like an eco biodegradable cup, and the spoon is also biodegradable, but that'll be the most of the trash, and napkins.
Yeah. And how do you envision the line working? I mean, we have a question about space for pedestrians. Is that going to run, are you going to have more closed of the curb lane and have the line there, or are they going to be on the sidewalk?
The sidewalk is tighter than others. We were just gonna keep it as close as possible to the truck, like one person could fit on the sidewalk, and we were gonna run the line south toward Broome.
Yeah, because you have to maintain a 5-foot minimum, which you probably know. Okay, I'm not sure how wide that sidewalk is, but it's quite narrow.
This is going to happen on Thursday. Is there any reason why this wasn't brought before the community board prior to this today? But why wasn't it brought to our attention last month?
So the partnership between Kendra Scott was like very under wraps with Disney. We just applied for the permit 4 weeks ago to this date, and this was, I'm assuming, the first board meeting that has occurred since we applied for the permit.
That's the same, yeah. Unfortunately, SAPO has to, if they want us to give us more time, they have to change the rules. So street event small has more than a 30-day deadline. And I mean, one thing you might want to consider, I mean, you've applied for a street event small with a curb lane closure. It might be possible to close off another couple parking spots and run the line there. If you feel it's going to block the sidewalk too much. I mean, 250 people, maybe it won't be too bad, but it is an extremely narrow sidewalk. And so you need to make sure it's 5 feet at the minimum, but hopefully more.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, and just also have stanchions in the curb lane as well.
Yeah, since you've applied for it, you might as well use it.
Totally.
More space.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Sorry, you both.
Yeah, you mentioned something about jewelry. Could you go back to that?
Yeah, so Kendra Scott is a jewelry brand, and sorry, I'm just reading the comments. They partnered with Disney on a jewelry collaboration. So they are releasing this collection on Thursday, July 11th. So they're just looking to make a splash. They're not giving away any jewelry. That would be nice. They just want to get people excited and just kind of like raise awareness around this collection.
Will they be giving out any kind of literature about where to buy the jewelry or how to get it?
Yeah, so the truck is gonna be branded. There's gonna be a QR code on the truck that leads people to buy it online, but we're also gonna have 2 brand ambassadors near the serving window or around the truck to kind of like lead people into the store to check it out there, which is gonna be right in front of the truck.
Thank you.
So also, Dolly, how are you going to be advertising? How will people know that this is happening?
So the collection is being advertised, but our food truck is going to be more of a surprise and delight. There will be no pre-promotion.
It's amazing how quickly the lines form when there's a
Yeah.
giveaway.
Especially in a heat wave.
In a heat wave. That's very true.
Okay, any questions in the room? All right, I'm gonna, we have a couple hands raised from the public. I'm gonna promote Pete and Erica. Pete, feel free to go first, and then Erica.
Yeah, thank you. The image that was shown of the street indicates that the truck will be right up against the crosswalk. Is there any plan to daylight at that corner so the large truck doesn't block for oncoming traffic up Green Street, the traffic coming east on Spring Street?
So we can push the truck back closer to the entrance of the store, and that's what we were envisioning. It's a little bit, it's like one parking spot up from the crosswalk, so that should allow enough space for any traffic turning onto either of the streets.
Not so much traffic turning because it's going the other way, it's visibility. Are cars driving north on Green to see what's coming from
We can, yeah,
west to east on Spring? Thank you.
no problem. We can certainly push it to be a little bit more south toward Broome Street.
Thanks, Pete. And yeah, and thanks, Dolly. I think daylighting is always a great idea. Okay. Have anyone else? Erica? No. Okay, I don't see another hands raised. Thank you very much for attending today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, bye. Okay, next we have Pair of Thieves, sponsor ProMobile, Washington Square North between Fifth Avenue and McDougal. Just promoted you, Antonetta. And I should have mentioned earlier, everyone who I promote to panelists should have the ability to share your screen as well, if there are graphics. I think I forgot to mention that. But thanks for joining, Antonetta.
Hi, how is everyone? Thank you for having me. I am representative from ProMobile and the project manager on the Pair of Thieves campaign here. We're representing Pair of Thieves for their 10-year anniversary. They have launched an initiative to donate socks to 10 different cities, so 10,000 pairs to 10 cities to donate 100,000 pairs of socks to those in need. And a lot of the charities are in the tri-state area, so they chose to activate in New York City. We will be activating curbside on right next to Washington Square Park on Washington Square North between Fifth Avenue and McDougal. We will be activating closer to the Fifth Avenue corner. I can share my screen to share the footprint. If you just bear with me for 1 second. Okay. We will, the activation will be in the curb lane. We will have police barricades blocking in our area so that the people that are engaging in the curbside will be safe and blocked from oncoming traffic. We will have branded barricade covers for visibility to enclose our space curbside. We will have a photo backdrop for a photo opportunity for those stopping by. After that photo opportunity, we will encourage those to share on social media, and then they will be led to a vending machine where they will go through a series of animations that will allow them to kind of pick the charity that they would love their socks to be donated to. And then at the end of that series, they will be given a free pair of socks to take home with them and exit. The line queue will be somewhat on the sidewalk, leaving more than 5 feet of clearance. It's actually about 11 feet of clearance. There's about 13 feet wide sidewalks in that specific location. We will also have a vehicle on site bringing the footprint items, and we will have it parked closer to the sidewalk, to the crosswalk, so that oncoming traffic can see, that a vehicle is there before the footprint, in addition to the commercial safety barriers that we have. This will be an unbranded vehicle and just hold footprint elements for the event. We will be on site between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. We will have about 3 hours of setup and want to be ready to go for a client walkthrough at 10 a.m. And the event will be live from 12 to 7. We do only anticipate to have about 200 socks on hand, and it is while supplies last, but we have outlined in our application 12 to 7 in case there's any event that we need to last that long. We will have brand ambassadors for crowd and control management, and informing them about the 10 different organizations that the pair of thieves will be donating to.
Hey, thank you very much. And did you mention, is there going to be any amplified sound or no?
No amplified sound.
Okay, great. And that sounds really interesting. I mean, I'm just out of curiosity, do you have the organizations that are going to be your partners, or are you still deciding?
We
Well, I guess
do.
3 days away. So.
Let me just double check to see if I can get the names offhand for you. Just bear with me for 1 second.
I was more just curious, but they're New York, or some of them are New York?
The majority of them that they chose New York because the majority of them, I would say more than half, are in the tri-state area.
Okay, great. Yeah, just be curious if you had any examples. But I can pass it while you're looking at that. I can pass it around and see if there's other questions.
It's a pretty easy spot to control. And
yeah,
it's not too crowded.
You said load in 8:30?
7, I think.
7?
7:30 to 8 o'clock, we expect to be on site, and then we will be setting up from 8 to 10, and then live 8 to 11. I would say 3 hours. I'm sorry about that, and then live at 12 o'clock noon.
So if I understood you correctly, you're going to have 200 socks in hand to give out to people. And those people that get socks can choose the charities that they would like your organization to donate to them. Is that correct?
Yes. There are set 10 organizations, and they can choose the charity that they'd like to donate to, correct?
So they'll pick from the list, of your list.
Yes, that is correct.
And overall, how many socks going to be donated throughout all the 10 charities?
It's 10,000 socks per charity for a total of 100,000 socks that will be donated. But this is just like a fun exercise for social content, in addition to handing out additional socks to New Yorkers and those that are in need. So this is in addition to the 100,000 that are going to be donated to each one of those charities, or to all the charities, I should say, in the whole.
And how did you come to choose this particular area of Washington Square between Fifth Avenue and McDougal?
Initially, just foot traffic and being next to, being next to like Christopher Street, to be honest. They were looking to do this during Pride, Pride Month, and for some reason that didn't work out for the brand, and so we pushed slightly into July after the holiday, and they really wanted to be around Christopher Street and some of flagship Pride locations, and so
McDougal is not near Christopher.
well, it's not next to Christopher, but it's not a far walking distance, I should say. And it has good foot traffic with the park. So they requested near Washington Square Park.
Yeah. So, okay, so people are voting, but you've already kind of decided each of the 10 charities getting 10,000 socks, kind of regardless of how people vote. It's more just kind of.
They'll get additional.
Oh, okay.
But yes.
Yeah, so I think people would just be curious to see the list. If you don't have it now, maybe you can send it to
Yes,
us.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my screen here because it's quite small, but if you just bear with me for one more second. Okay, I have it right here. Hold on one second. Okay, these are the charities here. So the Children's First Fund, ECLI Vibes, HCPS, Knock Knock Give a Sock, North Brooklyn Angels, OSO, AML, Partnership with Native Americans, the Village Diaper Bank, and Lighthouse.
Cool. And you said you think over half of those are in the tri-state area. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's what the client has. I don't have their exact addresses.
Sure,
but that's what
yeah,
the client
yeah.
has shared and why they chose New York City. Correct.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, of course.
Okay, do we have any questions from the public? Please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you, Antonetta. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Etc. Okay. So next up, we have Nest at Broadway, July 12th to 13th. Broadway between Broome and Spring. Okay. I've promoted RP. And Adam, you're still a panelist.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, RP. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy Monday. I think Adam had his hand raised. Are we all good to start?
Yeah, Adam's still a panelist, so he can talk whenever as well.
Amazing. I'll share my screen to go over this. Can everyone see?
Yep.
Amazing. So we are, I'm from Food Truck Promotions, and we are partnering with Nest Fragrances New York to bring their grapefruit scent to life in the form of a pop-up citron that would be located on Broadway between Broome and Spring. I have a site map attached here. The citron would go in between where Zara and Tumi are on the curb lane. And then we would have Bear and the line forming down towards Broome and would have stanchions for that to ensure we're supporting. We will have 3 brand ambassadors on site per day to make sure we are line managing. And from the citron, we will be giving away lemonade and a mini Nest candle that is just a sample product. This is what the visual of the Citroen will look like. And our run of show plan is to load in on both days at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, be fully set up by 9:30, which is when our brand ambassadors will arrive. And then service does start at 11 and end at 5. So between 9:30 to 11, just be making sure everything is show ready, have a client walkthrough. And at the end of the day, we will break down at 5:15, load out, take all of our trash with us. We will also be sure to have trash containers that we provide from Food Check Promotions around the vehicle to ensure that we're collecting all of that and taking it back to our warehouse at the end of each day.
Thanks. Sorry, I missed it in all the info. Can you just repeat what you are giving away?
Yes, we are giving away lemonade and a sample product from Nest.
You said lemonade?
Lemonade and a mini
sample.
candle.
Lemonade and a mini candle. And would you mind just going back to the photo again really quick, just so I can see it?
Yes.
Okay, I see. And then, sorry, could you go back to the map one more time? What was the address?
It is on Broadway between Spring and Broome in front of Toomey and Zara.
Zara. There's a question in the chat asking what Nest is. Would you mind just explaining for those?
Yeah.
No?
Nest is a fragrance company that sells candles and diffuser scents. They do sell at Bloomingdale's. So for this event, Bloomingdale's would be directly across the street where they do have a big display. And they are at all the Bloomingdale's around New York and have an online retailer as well.
Okay, and is there going to be any amplified sound?
No amplified sound.
Okay. And you've put in the application expected 75 to 199 attendance. Is that accurate?
It's going to be, 79 to 199 is what you said?
It says between 75 to 199.
No, we are expecting to have around 700 in quantity for the lemonade on both days.
Is there a reason that's not caught in the application?
I would defer to that for Adam. He just sent in the chat. It's hard for me to gauge how many people when we apply for permits, such as a sampling truck.
Okay. I mean,
You guys know if it rains, we're gonna get 100 people. If it's a gorgeous day and people are out, we might get 300 or 400. It's just it's always hard to gauge when it's just a public sampling activation when all they're giving away is lemonade. Ice cream is a big draw, but I'm not so sure about. I mean, I guess lemonade could be too.
yeah. Yeah.
Is the cost different?
It is, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, it's closer to a medium event, but yeah, the cost is 3,100 versus 1,100, 11,000.
Well, there's nothing taking place on the sidewalk. Okay, so a medium event, you have to have a promotional element on both the sidewalk and in the curb. We only have a sampling truck in the curb. That's all it is. You know, you walk up to the truck, you get a little lemonade, you get a little mini candle, and you go about your way. The only thing on the sidewalk is a line queue. So that's automatically a small event. Okay. Medium event would have to have a seating area and a whole setup on the sidewalk, or a prize wheel, or some kind of step and repeat on the sidewalk with a food truck in the curb. You have to activate in the curb and the sidewalk to have medium.
Yeah, well, okay, true. But it also says medium can be when there's significant impact on pedestrian or vehicular traffic, but I see what you're saying. Okay, can you just pull up the map one more time? I just want to see in terms of the line management plan, if it is that many people. Can you just, sorry, show me one more time where the line would run?
Resharing my screen now.
Okay, so you'd run it south.
Correct.
Okay, and have you spoken to the folks at Zara? Because I guess it's really going to run in front of them.
Yes, we have. Let me just.
Okay. So you made them aware. Okay.
Correct. And then I did want to note with the citron and lemonade, the guest flow is super fast, so we're not expecting the line to be too long at a time.
Okay.
A note in the chat that they have to stay clear of the bus stop.
Do you know the address of the bus stop?
The bus stop is a little bit more towards Spring Street. We are activating down to make sure we're away from the bus stop. And the line will be the other way.
Yeah, it's running south, yeah.
Correct.
All right, let's open it up. Anyone in the room or CB2 members have questions, comments?
Nothing here.
Yeah.
I would just say 700 people on Broadway in Soho on a weekend is pretty significant impact on pedestrian.
It is, yeah. But I mean, this is an issue we've come across before where SAPO will sort of auto define events based on if it's just a curb lane. So it's kind of another SAPO rule setup that's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I agree. It's like, you know, it's hard to say it's technically a small event, but that's how SAPO classifies.
And this is curb lane.
Yeah, but like they look, yeah, it's something we could talk about more in business. But it is how SAPO tends to define these things. Okay, Pete, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I am speaking now on behalf of Broadway Residents Coalition. We've been working for years to control the illegal food trucks on Broadway, where it is a metered area. And you cannot vend from a food truck in a metered area in New York City. So by allowing this food truck to do this business on Broadway in Soho confuses people. It encourages others to come and park their food truck. So I think city policy wise, this is a mistake. I'm also curious why, if this product is sold across the street at Bloomingdale's, why don't they put the truck in front of Bloomingdale's? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Pete. We did originally inquire about a different location and then had to pivot to this location as another resort, as our initial permit inquiry was already taken by another activation happening in the city. So we just want to be as close to Bloomingdale's as we could.
But was your original one across the street in front of Bloomingdale's?
Correct.
Which application was that? I didn't see that one.
Do you know the other so there's another activation going on across the street?
I would defer to Adam on that if he can jump in.
So SAPO told us that there's a Samsung activation, I think either at the southern end of the block or around the corner. So they didn't want two activations to be that close to each other. So the precinct and SAPO approved the opposite side of the street. That they wouldn't give me the applicant's name or the event name. They don't share that kind of information.
We can look it up.
I think they did say something about Samsung. And
Thank
it's there
you.
for 2 weeks, maybe. It's there for a relatively long time. I think like 10 or 12 to 10 days or a week.
Okay. All right, I don't know how we didn't see that. That one didn't come to us. Okay, we'll look into that one.
Cool. Is there any other questions I can cover on my end?
Nope. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have the Living Proof, Broadway between Broome and Spring as well. This is July 27th to 28th. So I see. Gracie. Okay, Gracie, please feel free to go ahead. Gracie, are you there? We see the screen, but we're not hearing you. We still cannot hear you if you're trying to speak. Looks like you're on mute.
Sorry, guys. Okay, can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
And you can see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry. Okay, so this is for Living Proof, which is a hair care brand, and they are launching a new product. So in order to just drive awareness to the new product, they wanted to do a 2-day activation in Soho between Broome and Spring Broadway as well. And it's via our food cart, which is this one, but this will be the artwork. And again, also similar to Arby's event, we are handing out lemonade and it's 11 to 5. And we will have rope and stanchion, BAs to help line control. We'll make sure there's a lot of space on that wide sidewalk to make sure it doesn't get in anyone's way. Again, the guest flow will be quick, so there shouldn't be too long of a wait. And every guest will get lemonade and a sample product of the new hair mask.
Okay, so could you go back up to slide 2 really quick?
Run of show? Yes.
Okay, so 8:30. Load in 11 to 5.
Yep. Pretty simple load in, no amplified sound.
So is this is basically a carbon copy of the last event?
Sorta, yeah. We didn't mean for it to be that way, but the clients kind of liked similar ideas.
And what's the address? Is it 520 or 524?
524.
Okay, so we have a comment in the chat saying that's 520 where you put it. Is it meant to be in front of Aritzia or Lululemon?
It's going to be like more by 524.
So it's going to be a little to the left of where that red line is. Okay.
Yeah. That will be more where like the line is for guest flow.
Is there any significance to the location? Are you partnering with any of those brands or any of those stores rather? Sorry.
No, it's just kind of based on clientele. Similar shoppers use that type of that Living Proof. So it's more just so getting in front of the right audience.
And sorry, what is Living Proof again?
It's a hair care brand. It's sold at like Sephora and Ulta and places like that. And they're releasing a new Shine hair mask.
Got it. Yes, go ahead.
You have trash in and around the food cart, your own trash cans?
Yeah, we tend to bring our own like Slim Jim trash cans. And then we take it all back to our warehouse and handle it there.
Will you be giving out samples of the product that you want to?
Correct. We will be.
The lemonade and samples of the product. How many are you planning on giving away each day?
We're bringing enough to last us throughout the 6 hours, but we expect anywhere between like a couple hundred to 5.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, I guess it's the same as the last one. Yeah. It's a lemonade giveaway on the same area.
Where are you guys getting the lemonade from?
We do it in-house. We have a culinary team.
We have a question asking, do you know how large the lemonades are?
Yes, 10 or 12 ounce cups. And they'll have glitter in them, edible glitter, if anyone would like to enjoy sparkly lemonade.
Sparkly glitter.
In-house made lemonade. Okay, and then which way are you planning on running the line?
Past like Lululemon, that direction. So south, I think, if my compass in my brain is correct.
And have you spoken to, sorry, I'm pulling it up on the map here.
Yeah, the local stores around there.
Yeah, the ones who you might be running a line in front of.
Yeah, we make sure we're friendly with them and give them free product to make everyone happy.
Right.
What is the particular product that you want to promote at this time? Because Living Proof has few products.
It's a new mask to make your hair shinier.
Shinier.
Yeah.
And how large are the samples that you're going to be giving out?
I don't have the exact ounce, but it's like a smaller than like a travel size, so less than 3 ounces.
Travel size?
Yeah.
And what did you say about waste management? You have trash on site. You're encouraging people to throw away their cups right there.
Yeah, we do encourage that, but sometimes people take it. But we keep an eye out. If we see anything like thrown away like inappropriately, we always grab. Try to leave it exactly how we find it, clean.
Okay.
Someone asked if that is one application. I believe it's multiple, but I'm not from Living Proof, so I don't know exactly on how many times someone can use it. It probably depends on the length of hair and everything like that.
Okay. All right, if you have any other questions, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay, do we have anyone from the Bumble and Bumble event? That's the next one, July 27th. Bumble and Bumble glass truck. Okay, so this is one of the applicants that has, we had an issue with this one last month. They also didn't show up. We can talk about this more in business session, but I think for some of these that we've now identified as sort of problem sponsors that don't ever show up, we should definitely draft some stronger language to SAPO, as well as to DSNY enforcement if they continue to do events that are not approved by SAPO. So this is one of those that I think now in multiple times has just never showed up. So again, we can talk about the wording in business session on that one. And yeah, Pete, if you have a comment on that as well, please go ahead.
Thank you. just to clarify, you're saying they don't show up for community board 2, but they do show up for the event.
Well, it seems, yeah, I mean, the Bumble, we can go and look for sure on this one. I know they had the Bumble event last month, which they had one in, on Astor as well, I think, right? Or on Broadway, sorry. Which, let me go back, we can go back and look and see when that was.
Okay. Yeah,
The answer is some of,
that there are some that do that kind of renegade where they just say, we're going to do whatever we want. So if this is one of those, I support the action you described. Thank you.
yeah, thanks. I think you'll see there's some others later that we definitely know, Pete, have done events despite, having the wrong application, et cetera. And so there's some of those that we know for sure, and I've asked the office to continue keeping track of these. Okay, so no one has showed up for that one. So the next one is July 27th, Denim Tears 5-year anniversary event. Okay, Erica. I'm gonna promote you, if you could accept.
My water literally has a hole in the bottom. I was like, why is it?
Oh, no. Hi, Erica. You hear us?
Yes, I can. Just had to unmute me. And hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry for my overactive hand earlier. I was just trying to read the chat. I'm not sure why that kept happening, but I'm glad to be finally talking with everybody, and thank you for your time today.
It looks like your camera's on, but we can't see you. I don't know if there's an issue with it, but you can continue.
Okay, maybe you guys can, I can't see any of you now for some reason, but I can see me, so.
Could be a Zoom problem. That's all right. You could, oh, now we can see you. Okay.
Oh, you guys all just popped up now as well, so that's
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, so I am, we are applying for the SAPO permit for one of your business tenants. They're called Denim Tears. They are a 5-year fashion brand that has their flagship store at this location here in Spring. And they're celebrating their 5th year anniversary as a brand. And they would like to have a open house daytime throughout the day, inviting their ongoing loyal customers to stop in, do a little bit of shopping inside, and be able to socialize and gather outside the front of their store. We have very limited setup, so we're planning on just setting up according as you see on our permits to, around 10 a.m. And then the event will end at 7. We plan to break down by 7:30 because again, it's very limited. Mostly just stanchions, red carpet area that allows the security team to better control and make sure that there is through traffic for the foot traffic on the street and allow the guests to mingle while still like basically kind of controlling it so that it's still an invited only kind of event. They are not doing any product releases or anything like that. So it shouldn't have any kind of draw. There's no giveaways outside of like food and beverage. We will obtain a temporary, now they call them 1-day alcohol permits, but a temporary beer and wine permit to allow that service in the controlled area, and also have some light food available, which we've provided the temporary food establishment permit. It's not really necessary, but it's always good to have. And all of this has already been discussed with the community affairs officer who's done a walkthrough and approved everything. There won't be any issues with lines or anything like that because they're really just expecting less than 200 people throughout the day, at a single time. They do have permission though and everything from the neighboring businesses. The majority of the businesses are empty storefronts. So, and then there is an excessive amount of existing food and beverage dining sheds in the street. So there are 3 of those already there. And fortunately, there isn't one in front of their location. So they would basically kind of be butting up next to the existing food and beverage dining shed and taking up a similar footprint.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm just picturing this right. Okay, so
Yeah, here, let me go ahead and share.
there's a diagram that would be helpful.
No problem. Here we are. Why does it say grant access? I have granted access. Let me just try this a different way. I'm just going to share my entire screen. I know it's going to echo for a minute there. There we go. We should have everything popped up now. Is that looking correct to you?
I don't see anything yet.
Still have to keep 5 feet.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I'm trying to understand what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it basically looks, I don't know if you were able to see all of the information that was forwarded earlier today. And it's also the SAPO event diagram that is uploaded to the SAPO permit itself. But basically, it's just a red carpet stanchioned area partially on the sidewalk, allowing for 5 feet of.
Okay.
Of
Okay, I'm going to, I think I can share it. Give me a second.
I apologize on that. I keep asking it to share and.
Okay, can people see my screen?
It's telling me.
Is Zoom having issues today?
Yeah, I think we started to get a lag just now.
Hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, my other computer where I tried to share it. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time.
I'm going to try it again as well and see if anything changes on my end, but it keeps saying select the screen. I've tried window, tab, and entire screen, and it's still not giving me anything on my end.
Maybe, all right, let me try it one more time.
There we go.
Try to zoom in.
Excellent. Somebody's thing is working. That's great.
Okay. So this is spring. So where's the clear lane going to be if you're like, because you've put in here the curb lane and sidewalk.
Yes, yeah, I just blocked it out. Normally Desiree just tells me to do like kind of the red carpet and stanchion area to denote where we will be, but obviously that's more of a dash line, and there will be open access for the walking pedestrians, which we have called out in our security plan as well.
Okay. So the application says full sidewalk. I have it up here, full sidewalk closure both, but this is really a curb lane and sidewalk on one side.
So in my experience over the last few years of doing these, we've always had to still provide the ability for pedestrians to continue to use the sidewalk. I mean, it's really, I think, an ADA thing more than anything. So we basically are factoring that in with our security team already, because that is just kind of the standard. Even though we will be using the sidewalk, there still needs to be the ability for pedestrians to continue to pass through.
Right.
It should apply for curb lane too.
Yeah, I think it should include a curb lane as well. I mean, that's where
You'll see that originally the full application does include the curb lane. I just also.
Okay, so we have an old version.
No, that was the original. Let me just pull it up. Did they edit it? I mean, they have it as both sides of the street, but originally it was the full curb. And I did not select both sides of the street, so I'm wondering
Okay.
if, this is the first time I've worked with this SAPO agent. And I've not had a lot of luck getting a hold of them, so I'm not sure if, I think they might be new to the team because I've never heard their name before. Like, let me just double check our actual. Just see, I was just checking to see if when I got the receipt from them, if they might have said that. But yes, we would like the curb lane as well. I just don't understand why that's not called out anymore on the application. I apologize for that. That's bizarre. I think something was altered in it. I can definitely follow up with them on that and make sure that they correct that immediately.
Okay. And are you aware that this is an open street at that time, or potentially an open street at that time?
As far as we're aware, it is not an open street at on that date. You mean for the restaurants?
The 27th.
What day of the week?
Saturday?
Sure it is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
The open street on Spring between Thompson and Sullivan has now been canceled.
So this is
They lost their
between
partner, but
Thompson and West Rutland.
still is.
Yeah.
Want me to check?
We can check on that.
Okay, all right, absolutely. And I do have contact with you guys via the email for this where I've sent all the documents. So I will follow up with you guys on that as well, and also the SAPO team to see if they can enlighten us on that.
Yeah, and then, okay, and going back, so you're envisioning like a little bit, like a sort of a cordon off area that's mostly in the curb lane and people are gonna hang out there?
That's correct.
And then the sidewalk's open so people can just walk by still?
Yes, absolutely. The sidewalk will still be open for pedestrians to continue to pass through as required.
Yeah.
Really, it's just curb lane.
So, yeah, I mean, it's more just curb lane, but, and then it's basically like you're operating like a temporary mini restaurant bar for a few hours in the curb lane.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to also be having their, it's more overflow from what they will have inside. The majority of the event will be the indoor area. It's just that they have a small storefront, so they want to be proactive and make sure that they're not one of those annoying businesses that now have spilled out onto the street and nobody knows why. So we're trying to be proactive and making sure that we have the correct amount of space to provide for the guest count if we do have one of those busier times where we actually might have almost 200 people on site.
And are you planning on, I think you do say in the application there's going to be amplified sound. Are you still planning on doing that outside?
Yes, we still like to do that. Through that, we intend to get a sound permit from the police precinct through the community affairs officer. And then obviously we would be restricted to whatever decibels they would allow us to have on that permit.
And what was the time frame for that? You said 12 to 7 p.m.?
Also noting the majority of the block outside of the restaurants is currently for rent or vacant. So we really don't have a lot of conflict with neighboring businesses because the majority of the storefronts are actually empty in that area.
Yeah.
Or at least.
And yeah, and then, okay.
3 or 4. And
then the sound's cutting off at 7 p.m., you said?
For rent. So that takes up about 50% of across the street with no activity.
Okay. And then the sound's cutting off at 7 p.m.? Is that the plan? Can you hear me?
Rose, I think. Oh, no. I don't think so.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Did it freeze?
I don't know what's going on with Zoom today.
The main community board 2 microphone looks to be currently muted. I'm not sure if you're speaking.
No, it's not muted. Other people are saying they can hear us. Erica's Zoom seems issues. She said the event was 12 to 7, so. Erica, can you hear us?
Closed caption.
Playing the volume.
Okay, volume's back. Sorry about that. Volume's back. Okay, cool.
Okay.
What a great day for Zoom. Yes, so yes, the music will stop by 7 p.m.
This is the one that was canceled.
Okay. Yeah, so it does look like the open street will be in effect when you're planning on being there.
Okay.
And the open street is run by Bistro Les Amis.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have been in touch with them as well, and they are completely fine with this event happening. So we've already spoken to them about the event. They just did not share this information with us.
Erica, question. It says that alcoholic beverages will be sold, consumed, or distributed at this event. Could you please talk a little bit about that? And my question also is, you stated that you wanted to have outdoors for people to mingle on the sidewalk. Can they mingle inside the store instead? And will they be consuming the alcohol, whatever's going to be either paid for or distributed for free? I don't know what you're doing. Will that, can that happen inside the store? And how are you going to control people from drinking in the street outside of the perimeter of your activation?
Absolutely. So we will be obtaining a temporary beer and wine permit, which allows for public service of beer and wine, whereas like a caterer's permit only allows for a private event. There is a full security team involved that will be maintaining the product inside the store and ensuring that everything is controlled as far as what's coming out of the store and that it's not going beyond any areas that it's not allowed to be. They will also be controlling the designated stanchioned area. So, and I can resend the plan for that if you'd like, the security plan, but we also submitted that earlier and you'll find it on the SAPO permit.
So will
as
it
far,
be
sorry, just go ahead.
free?
Yes.
Or
It's a very limited option, a limited bar, open bar for the invited guests of beer and wine service.
And did you mention this is, you're not planning on opening this event to the public? It's basically invite only?
Yeah, I mean, it's invite only. I mean, it's not something that we expect to really be an issue if somebody just kind of comes along and wants to, come into the event. We have plenty of security to make sure that we stay within the capacities that we want to stay in and to check IDs or anything like that if we need to as people are entering into the space. We also have ATAP certified bartenders working the event from the inside that will make sure that everyone is over 21. So we do want to be able to let people find out about the brand by kind of just stumbling upon it, but they largely expect it's going to be their loyal customers coming to celebrate their 5 years and then also their first year of flagship store location in your neighborhood.
Okay.
Will you have stanchions like outlining the area? Is that the idea in the street?
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha. And that's where there's like a red carpet situation?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It like breaks on the sidewalk. So the sidewalk's normal.
The sidewalk would be basically the 5 feet that needs to be allowed for people to move through. We'll probably stanchion, and then the security will be dedicated there to make sure that the pedestrian traffic still flows through the space.
Do we have any other questions in the room? Anything from the public, please raise your hand. Yes, Pete.
Yeah, if the applicant could please clarify, the temporary permit from the SLA can only be gotten if it's a private event, but you're going to allow anybody that might walk by to join in because you want to be welcoming. Therefore, it's no longer a private event.
No, so it's actually the caterers permits that are required to be a private event. So when you go to do the full caterers permit, which allows for full liquor service, that's supposed to be an invite-only private event. But as far as the temporary beer and wine permits, those can technically be open to the public as well as outdoors and in public areas, public parks and the like. So there's a little bit of a difference between the two permits, but they don't really explain it very well. If you'd like any clarification on that, though, I'm happy to pull up the State Liquor Authority website and provide specific details and send them over to you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question.
Okay. I don't see any other hands raised. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your evening. Bye.
Okay, public theater is up. Brooke's going to do it. This is public theater, July 28th, summer block party in Astor Place. Brooke.
I know. I took
Erica,
that peek.
could you mute, please, Erica? We can still hear you. Why can't I see?
Actually, I've been doing this for a long time and I know my laws.
Okay. Hi, Brooke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Well,
Ready for me to jump in?
please go ahead. Yes, thanks for joining.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Brooke Amico. I'm the Director of Special Events at the Public Theater. My colleague Liv is also in person at the meeting. Just in case there were any Zoom issues, we wanted to make sure we had our bases covered. So we are hoping to host a block party on Sunday, July 28th. So for those of you, I hope most of you are familiar with the Public, but if you're not, we are a nonprofit theater located at 425 Lafayette Street. We've been there since the 60s, and we also have a theater in Central Park, the Delacorte Theater. And every summer we do free Shakespeare in the Park. We are not doing free Shakespeare in the Park this summer, unfortunately, because we're doing a major renovation of the theater. So this summer we've come up with completely new programming to have free programming for people in New York City in all 5 boroughs. There's many different opportunities we're offering this summer, which I'm happy to share with you, but the one that I am working on is a block party. So we did a block party in 2012 when we reopened the Public after a renovation downtown. And we would like to do a new version of the block party, much smaller actually than last time, on July 28th. So the plan is for the actual block party to be from 12 to 4. But we would hope to begin setup at 8 a.m. And I think I'm going to share the Astor Plaza layout for you now to walk you through all the plans for inside Astor Place. But in addition, we will be doing programming and activations inside the Public Theater lobby as well. So happy to answer any questions about that. But the hope is that people migrate from Astor Place to the Public. Okay, able to see this?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Awesome. So this is our current layout for Astor Place. We have the 15-foot fire lane around, that's the yellow markings. And so the orange is really where we're programming. So starting at the bottom left corner, we have our Public Theater Go Public tent. So Go Public is our programming for the summer. This will be run by our front of house staff. So there'll be hopefully a first point of contact for people to answer questions. What are we doing today? explaining what the public theater is, helping in any way direct them somewhere. Next, then we'll have head count, which is voter registration. Then we have vendors lined up here. We have Wegmans, who will be handing out water bottles and snacks. We have Raising Cane's, who will be handing out tickets to redeem a lemonade across the street because they're located very close, as well as I think like a lottery to win like a gift card. In the middle, we will have like a photo op. So Starbright Floral will be providing a flower wall, a faux flower wall, and we'll have a camera set up so people can take photos and get an email to them. The main attraction of the day will be the performances. So we're bringing in a stage. It's the same stage that we've used for mobile performances in Astor Plaza over the years. The performances will be from 12 to 4. So while we will be setting up earlier in the day, all of the activations are 12 to 4. We've already been in conversation with the precinct, and that will be our sound permit as well. And we'll have a small audio tent to help with the sound needs for the stage. To the right, we'll have additional activations. So we'll have the same company doing face painting and balloon twisting. And then in between, we'll have JetBlue handing out some JetBlue swag. When looking at this layout, this gray square is Astor Plate, and they will be open still selling food that day. It's not on this layout, but they have their own tables and chairs, as you know, and those will still be here. And the Village Alliance, we've been in close conversation with for all elements of this, has tables and chairs here as well, though we're still determining the exact layout of them, but they have given us access to use them that day. We'll also be adding garbage cans and A-frame signs for people to know what's happening where, since we'll be having activations in Astor Place as well as the public. And we have our own sanitation company that picks up our garbage every week, and we're also working with them to do additional pickups that week. So we will be maintaining our garbage and bringing it to our alleys at the public so that we can get rid of it the proper way with the rest of our garbage. When I change tabs, can you see that? Yep. Okay, great. So this is the basic layout for the day. I didn't include everything happening inside the building to not overwhelm you, but happy to share what else we're doing. But stage setup would start at 8, and our audio team would start setting up at 8:30. We would also start public theater setup around 10, which means bringing in those tables for the vendors and the tents. We have mostly confirmed times for all vendors, which are highlighted yellow, of when they will come themselves to do their setups, which ranges from 2 hours to the floral wall to 20 minutes for the face painting. We hope to start sound checking around 11. Performances, like I said, are 12 to 4. It won't be a straight 12 to 4. There will be 20-minute breaks between acts on the stage. And we're still finalizing the exact lineup, but it is going to be classics that the Public Theater has done, performances from Hair, Hamilton, Suffs. There's also a Joe's Pub programming performance, and we will have a couple speeches as well from Public Theater leadership, potentially government officials if any decide to attend that day. In between some of the breaks, we are hoping to have Shinbone Alley's Stilt Band perform. So they are on stilts, and they would be walking around Astor Place. Then about 4 o'clock, we would start breakdown. We're giving ourselves a good cushion of 2.5 hours for this. That's the largest thing to break down is the stage, of course. And another element that I haven't mentioned yet is the food trucks. So we have another permit request in to put food trucks on Lafayette Street between the bump out. So right in front of the public, we have a bump out steps between the bump out and Astor Place, but we would not need the entire area. We're hoping to fit about 2 or 3 food trucks there. We would keep major, like any area that we need to keep open, of course we would. We know that there is a bus stop there, so we are trying to stay clear of the bus stop. This is our current layout plan. So if this is the public bump out, we call it 425, and Astor Place is up here. This would be the plan if we had all 3.
Got it. And could you just make sure that if you're doing those food trucks that you file, I think you need to file a separate permit with SAPO?
We did already. I don't
Okay,
know.
you did. Perfect.
Yeah, if you have access to them. We did already, and I've been playing phone tag with Chris from SAPO all day today to just go over the final details for that one.
Okay, great.
What is the purpose of the food truck? Obviously to sell food, but why?
Because we figure people are there from 12 to 4, like we want to keep people there as long as possible. And if they want some food, we feel like it would be great to just offer the opportunity. They would have to pay for the food from the food trucks, but just an opportunity for them to eat and drink. And then also, it also helps us get people to walk in this direction so that they come to the public theater, because, our hope is that everyone who comes to the block party that day also comes inside our building.
Will you be, that means you will be taking away the ability for people to go to brick and mortar stores or restaurants or delis, or whatever, to buy food.
Well, you know better than I, but 2 of the vendors right there that have brick and mortar, Wegmans and Raising Cane's, are a part of our block party that day. And we are only planning on 2 or 3 food trucks. So for sure, I guess it does make competition, but I assume not every single person would participate in that.
And so you're doing programming inside the public at the same time, basically. So you're saying you want people to go in and out as well.
Yeah, we have a costume exhibit that's opening that day. We're going to do a film screening. Our library restaurant will be open that day, as well as we're doing tours of the building for people who are donors.
You also mentioned that you were going to have voting sign up.
Yes.
What is the purpose of that, and what is the relationship with that with the public theater?
So we just wanted to, and it seems like it ended up being the only one, but one goal of this event was we wanted to have community engagement moments, not just have performing at the block party. So Headcount is a organization that had reached out to us, and I believe someone in our marketing department has a relationship with them. They're nonpartisan, but obviously with the public theater, we just, we want people to register to vote. So we're pro registering and getting that opportunity out. There were other opportunities like that we looked into that just haven't come through. And so this was the one that we were able to solidify.
Okay. Yes, Brian?
So Brooke, I'm just imagining how you're going to get people from the Astor Place over to the public theater. Is there a more direct route, or is it in fact that you have to walk around those other buildings over to the next block?
The most direct route to get from Astor Plaza to to the public is the sidewalk on Lafayette Street. Something I'm realizing I forgot to mention, which I want to include as well, is that we will also have additional front of house staff in front of the public, and we will also be hiring our typical security team to have 2 presence in Astor Plaza, as well as the public theater, to help direct folks. The signage A-frame should hopefully help people too. And I mean, of course, many of the people who show up that day will just be showing up, but we have many people who have signed up of being interested in this event already that we are emailing details to, of saying, this is happening in Astor Place and this is happening at the public theater, from this time to this time. We hope you can join here, et cetera, et cetera. So all of our public theater community members will know that there's activations happening inside the public as well. So hoping that they just make their way over.
You held this event last year, if I recall correctly.
Different event. Last year there was a mobile unit. Sorry, not a mobile unit. There was a Joe's Pub performance in Astor Place. I don't work in that department, so that was not an event that I did, though it is a public theater event. So the only similarity is that we're renting the same stage, but a completely different event technically. It's still hosted by the public theater though.
I remember last year, I think you put on one of the theater performances, shows, plays at the event. Was that correct? And then we
Did it play at the event or did performances at the, definitely there was a stage with Joe's Pub performances. That's all I'm aware of.
Okay.
And it's the same stage and the same stage vendor, so they're familiar with it.
The voter thing was also there last year or not?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, feel free to stop sharing. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Next event is the Soho Bible Study. Someone show up from that? No? Okay.
Nobody?
No. They're not here, but friendly reminder, there is a category of religious event that is within the SAFO system, but people never seem to apply for it, which seems like it wouldn't have been appropriate for this one, but it's a no-show. I see Laura's raising her hand, so let me promote her. 1 second. Hi, Laura. How are you?
One quick comment, which is that I looked up the name of the person who's the sponsor of this, and it seems to be related to a church that's in Brooklyn. I don't think that there's a connection to our community.
Agreed.
Even though they're calling it Soho Bible Study Group.
Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, these should all be filed as religious events, I think. I mean, they're welcome to apply for street of permit as well, but they need to show up, so.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Next is the Stanley Barbie event. Did anyone show up from that? We did not hear from them. So this is one that's that we've identified with specific issues within the last month. There was at least one problem event along Broadway that was like totally unlicensed, or they'd applied for the wrong place. We've gone back historically and they've never shown up. So in response to Pete's question earlier, this is one that actually we know has not only shown up to meetings, but is trying to have events that are not permitted. So we are going to try to work with DSNY enforcement, who is responsible for clearing out unpermitted food trucks and or other activations if they continue to try to do that. So I think that's our plan for those like these, but there's nothing else to really say unless someone has shown up, but I don't think they're coming. Yes,
So just
Pete.
like
Oh, sorry.
the
Yep.
Stanley Barbie, it's giving chaos.
Chaos?
So,
Like the Stanley is like the cup that every like little girl is obsessed
Yeah.
with. You know what I'm talking about? Big cups. It just it like it's very like social
Yeah.
media-y, like.
yeah, no, the
That's
Stanley Cups
Barbie.
are crazy.
And then
So-
it's like 10 days long, 8 days
So
long.
I think this is one that we've flagged to Soho in the past where we think it's going to be severe kind of safety and crowding concerns. And it seems like this, in addition to sort of the malpractice of the sponsor, are all serious factors we need to raise. So a lot of people raise their hand on this one. So Pete, I think I see Pete first on the list, and then Laura, and then Cynthia.
Great, thank you. Yeah, this one needs more than a flag waved over it. This is, they applied for a production, but there's a street event component with limos and stanchions, which is not a production event. And if they are repeat offenders in terms of being renegade and doing stuff without paying their fee, which is basically thievery, they just, SAPO's gotta listen to this one. So anyway, whatever you can do, I appreciate it, and thank you.
Yeah, we agree. And thanks for that one point, Pete. Yeah, I think we're starting to become aware of more people trying to sort of sneak events in by calling them production events, when in reality, there's an activation on the sidewalk and or the curb lane, which is quite frustrating. So I think we're being more aware of that now, and we'll start flagging that. Yes, Laura, please go ahead.
I apologize for no video. My camera doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, that's okay.
It's probably the new and updated Zoom, and my camera aren't connecting. But I agree with what Pete said. I think this needs a little bit more of a strong, because if it happens, it would be terrible. It's 10 days on Crosby Street of truck parking, 6 days on Broadway of stanchions. It's clear to me that even though no address was given on the application, that it seems to be a building that stretches between Crosby and Broadway. And there will be something inside as well. No one has shown up to discuss what they're foisting on our community is outrageous. And I think that it's got to be very strongly discussed with SAPO and with others, and maybe with the police, because the police do the parking, right? It's not just and they wanted, and actually there's been construction going on that block on Crosby Street for a number of years, and it's still ongoing. So anyway, that's all I wanted to point out. I live right around the corner from it, so I'll be, and my back windows face an alleyway that feeds onto that block of Crosby Street, so I get the noise.
Yeah.
And also, of course, if there's any type of obstruction, our alleyway is used by people.
Yeah. No, I think we all agree with you, and I would say we do appreciate when you and Pete and others are sending us photo and video evidence of this, because it gives more ammo, I think, when we go to SAPO, DSNY, and NYPD. So please keep doing that. And yeah, I think it has to be very strong on this one. I agree.
Thank you.
Cynthia also had her hand raised. Cynthia, did you want to speak? Looks like you're muted. If you wanted to speak.
I'm sorry. Yes, you were correct. I'm concerned that this is going to take place, not only outside of my building, but inside my building, because the building where I live, 480 Broadway / 40 Crosby, is the only has the only unoccupied retail space on Broadway between Crosby and Broadway. And I've looked, and there's no temporary assembly permit that's been applied for. And also there are no, if they're, I think that it looks to me like they might want parking so that they could bring in temporary walls and set up something inside. That might be one of the reasons for the parking on Crosby Street. But the owner of my building does not have, the place is not occupiable for fire reasons. The last person who tried to have a venue in the building, who rented the building, was the Imaginarico. It's like a bug museum. And she got 2 fire suppression contractors who both said it was not legal, you know, for fire safety, you know, public assembly. And I'm afraid that the owner of my building is very much like the person operating this venue, that they do whatever they want. So I know that it's related to the stuff going on outside, but I mean, I'm, you know, really concerned about this.
Okay. No, thanks for raising that. So
I mean, I don't know if you could, you know, if anybody could reach out to the DOB or any, you know, I just think that this is, you know, I just can't imagine that it's not in the building and that it won't be a huge disturbance for everybody in the building and on the north end of this block.
yeah. We will have the CB2 staff reach out and see if we can figure that out, because it would not obviously show up on the SAPO permit, which is what comes to us, if for anything they're doing inside the building. So I will have the staff look into that and see if we can.
And also the building is still under construction from the 2nd to the 4th floor, as well as the 5th floor has, you know, residents. So, you know, egress and public assembly and, you know, fire safety is, you know, paramount.
Yeah. You said 40 Crosby, 40 Crosby.
At 480 Broadway, correct. It's where Top Shop used to be.
Okay.
40 and 480.
480
Yes.
Broadway, 40 Crosby. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll forward that to the staff and have them look into it, and see if we can reach out to DOB on that one. Again, that wouldn't be something our committee could see from SAPO directly, but we should now that you've raised it, I think we definitely need to look into it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
I hope I get better at public speaking. I'm sorry that I get nervous and you know.
Sounded great to me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
saying
you.
that.
Yeah, very clear. Okay. We have anything else on that one? No. Okay. 814 Bobby Brown. This is, I'm assuming no one has showed up. That's the same one we flagged earlier for Bumble and Bumble. Again, this is another sort of problem actor. So it is on Broadway, very busy area, as we know. So I think we flag this one and this one, the Marty Barnes and the Bumble and Bumble all should be flagged with the similar language. So that's a no-show. So I'll move on. The next one is 81524 Tatcha String Street pop-up for Sephora. Yes. I'm promoting you, Aubrey. Well, welcome, Aubrey. Thank you for joining and sticking. Thanks for sticking with us.
Of course, they're very interesting events happening. So I'm excited to kind of present as well. Thank you so much for hosting. Yes, this is for Tatcha. It is a beauty brand that is actually sold within Sephora stores. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Hold on one second. Sorry about this. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, great. So this is taking place on Thursday, August 15th. It is to promote the beauty brand Tatcha, which is actually a brand sold within Sephora, as I mentioned. It is a launch for their new Dewy and Water collection, or a piece of that water collection. That's why they're utilizing this date as well as this location. We did not pick Broadway in front of the Sephora store because of the embargo for the Broadway location. So we are actually moving to, well, first off, we picked Spring Street, 96 Spring Street, but because there just was scaffolding that popped up recently, we're requesting to move to 153 Mercer Street, which is a block over from the Sephora location. And 153 Mercer is an empty storefront. So the application itself has not been updated by SAPO as of yet. It has been requested a couple weeks ago to be able to update to this new location. And the other thing on the application is we did originally only want the curb lane, but we are actually requesting curb lane and sidewalk for this for a medium size event. Even though it's not really a medium, I'll get into that. We'll look at the site plan. Okay, so there will be security on site. It's elite investigation security. Basically, this is a promo for, as I mentioned, the beauty brand. It's like face stuff, I guess. And they're basically just handing out 2 samples. Sample size, it's as you see here, it's 0.34 ounces. Each sample is about $23, so it's quite low. And they will be handed out in a little branded bag as well. It's just a touch and go moment. There isn't any, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to give your name, email address. It literally is just to kind of promote the product that will actually be sold in Sephora stores starting that weekend or around that weekend. There are only 2 Sephora stores that this new product will be launched in to begin with. It is actually the Sephora the Soho location, as well as the 34th Street location. So there is actually another event taking place on the Friday, August 16th, near the 34th Street location. So it's those 2 locations that are targeted because that's where it's launching. There are no celebrities, there is no amplified sound, there is no generator. There also will be a small pressed juicery matcha that will also be passed out with these samples as well. So it is, and it's pre-packaged and sealed, and it's a touch and go moment. So basically it's just passing out these bags as people walk by. There isn't any specific marketing to bring additional people to the neighborhood. It basically is just passerbys to see if they want a little bit of the sample. And if not, no big deal, go about your day kind of thing. So there will be like marketing for the product to say, hey, we're in Sephora store, but this is like just a additional moment to kind of add to that marketing. There isn't any, like come and see us at like this location. It basically is just as people pass by. Sorry, one second. So this is the site plan on Mercer. As I mentioned, we are trying to target within the empty storefront there at 153. There will be the branded truck. I'll show you a photo of it in just a moment. The little green dots are staff. They're brand ambassadors that will sort of be floating around and passing out these little tiny bags. And then also security. There will be 3 security on site as well, just to ensure that people are kind of behaving and not necessarily not blocking the sidewalk, keeping the sidewalk open for the 5 feet that is required. And then also it's just a touch and go moment as well. They are bringing a rope and stanchion just in case to kind of keep the sidewalk clear and keep people in line if for some reason there is a interest to this. But for the most part, they are sort of having the brand ambassadors float and pass out the bags as people walk by. So it's not necessarily they just want to be prepared just in case. And then that's why the security will be there as well to kind of cut down the line to about 15, 20 people if it does get crazy, but they don't anticipate that it will get out of hand just because of it is a Thursday midday. And then also, it could be hot and not necessarily people are going to be wanting to wait in line for samples that they could probably pick up in Sephora anyway, in the air conditioned store right around the corner. So we'll see. But there will be the mobile truck, the stanchions. There is a product display. As I mentioned, we did request to include the sidewalk into our application. That has not been updated just yet. And then also the production vehicle, just that will be close by as well. So we are trying to keep everything within that empty storefront, but obviously trying to be good neighbors to the stores neighboring as well. I think Tory Burch is right next door as well. So, okay, and into the production schedule, as I mentioned, it's pretty quick. It's just the Thursday, August 15th. Everybody will sort of arrive right about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. There isn't any large setup. The piece that will be on the sidewalk that is kind of like the large bottle product piece is no more than 6 feet. And then it just basically pops out of the truck and is set up on the sidewalk. There isn't any construction to be able to put that together or anything like that. And it, gets weighted down and then removed at the end. And then it will open to the public, sort of the sampling piece of it at 10 a.m. and then close at 4 p.m. And then everything should be off site by 4:30. In addition to that, there will be trash bins that will be available. The brand ambassadors that will be on site will actually be doing a sweep every hour to ensure that there isn't any additional rubbish left behind. All of the trash that is collected will be put into the production vehicle and taken off site and disposed of off site at the warehouse. And then, yes, they're planning for about 1,000 units. If they don't get that, that's totally fine. It's just based on other activations that we have done prior. It's usually about 1,000 people that walk by and get a little sample and go about their day. So that's basically the gist of it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I think it's similar to other applicants that you've heard tonight. This is what the branded vehicle will look like. It's not that large. And then this is kind of what the imagery of what it will look like once it's actually branded and put on the street. And the public's not actually going into this truck. It's just sort of images of the new product itself. And that is kind of it.
Are they screens or are they glass?
It'll be glass. And you can kind of see in it, and there will be like product displays in there.
The samples,
the
samples going to be given through the doors open or the windows open, or where do people get the samples from?
So they will be given on the street. The brand ambassadors that will be floating around will actually just be passing them off to passerbys, and you don't have to take it. They're not going to get in anybody's face. It's just sort of like, if you want it, take it. If you don't, have a great day.
Could you please point to us rather, where exactly is the Sephora store in comparison to where you're going to have your trucks?
So the Sephora store is
on Broadway.
Yes, it's on Broadway between Spring and Prince.
Can you point to it, please?
It's like off the page. It's like great.
Below?
What? Yeah. So this
it's like over here. Do you want me to pull up a map?
Prince and Springs. It's like,
yes, thank you for yes.
So it's not shown on this map.
No, because we're not activating in front of Sephora. We're activating on Mercer.
I understand.
Could you just go back to the first page?
Sure.
So first of all, I think we should I like what you did here. I think we should maybe copy this and send this to every food truck to fill out before coming to our meetings. But can you just talk? There's a question in the chat. You said there's no influencers or celebrities. Can you talk about how it's being promoted?
So Tatcha as well as Sephora will be promoting the new product that will be available at Sephora, but this activation is not necessarily marketing that it'll be on Mercer. It is a passerby moment. If people pass by it, they get to see it. It's not come and see us on Mercer. It's basically this product will be available within Sephora, and they're basically just giving a sample, a preview of what the product is for any lucky person to kind of pass by that moment on the street on this day.
And is there a thought that having multiple people pass out and samples will keep a large line from forming?
Correct.
Is that the idea? It's interesting.
Correct. That's basically, we want to avoid the line, because what lines do is it sort of draws attention to more people to line up in a line. They may not know what they're lining up for, or they think that it's more of an activation than it actually is. But as I mentioned, there is rope and stanchion that the team will be bringing just in case it does get crazy. But for the most part, they are planning to kind of have the sample bags ready to pass out and basically have like a no more than like a 2-second touch with every person to avoid that line. But, you know, if it does get for some reason kind of crazy, they do have the rope and stanchion to be able to control it. They're the security team on site will ensure that the line is kept minimal and against the truck and near the curb lane, so it's not necessarily blocking storefronts. And then also it'll be capped at about 15 to 20 people at once. But the line should move pretty quickly. It shouldn't. Again, nobody's really doing more of an activation than you know, a couple seconds to get a product.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach. And you said you're upgrading it to a street event medium?
Correct, because we're adding in, we do have the rope and stanchion, which, you know, is not necessarily going to be there the full time, but there is a piece on the street. I am working with SAPO about what that looks like. It just hasn't been updated within the application just yet, because I know that they're coming off of the 4th weekend and kind of catching up on other applications. Okay. And this isn't happening for another month, so I think we're low priority at this exact moment.
Okay. Well, no, I think that is, I'm glad that you did that, because I think it is more appropriate than having it as a small event, which I was mentioning earlier. So that's good. Cool. Do you have anything else? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everybody for your time. Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you, Audrey. Okay, our last agenda item, August 16th, BSA Family Welcome Event.
Last item.
Geronda, I am promoting you.
You guys have stuff?
Are we at the Broome Street Academy?
Yes.
You hear me? Good evening.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for hosting. Actually, this was fun. It was very enlightening, and I feel prepared for my next go round. Just saying that. I'm excited to be here today. So I do not have a site plan. However, I can provide one now that I know what it looks like. And I will just pretty much give you an overview of what we're looking to do. So my name is Joranda Whitfield. I'm the Assistant Director of Operations for Broome Street Academy Charter High School. We're at 555 Broome Street. As you know, we're co-located with The Door, which is a well-known organization in Soho area. So this school year, this is my first school year there. We've had a lot of different recent events happening. And one of the things that we want to do this school year is to create a different culture. And just to and to pretty much create a community-based, cohesive, more of like welcoming kind of environment for our new families. So we're having this welcome barbecue. We, as the school and The Door, we have food handlers license. We have the permits for the DOH. We also were looking to have a DJ. However, we know we needed to reach out to the community affairs. So we have that in place already. We will be using them as our security as well as our own allied security team just for safety precautions. The actual event will be from 12 to 4 p.m. And we're looking to close the street right in front of Chelsea. And it would literally just be from 10 to 4. And then the breakdown would literally be an hour. The Door and BSA, we have our own facilities team. So we will take care of the cleanup. We have our own garbage storage. So the street will be cleaned. And yeah, so I'm willing to answer any questions. I sent over a memo. I know you guys have seen a lot of people, so I don't know.
You wanted to close the street right in front of what?
Chelsea, the school, Chelsea High School.
Oh,
So it's literally just, it's a restaurant, the bike store, Chelsea High School. We just wanted to close off that little part in order to just block off traffic from 12 to 4. That was it. We don't need the space to be blocked off for setup time because a lot of what we're going to do is on our side of 555 Broom Street, which we have a pretty good, decent sidewalk. And a lot of what's happening is coming out of the building, and so it can happen in real time. So
Can you talk a little bit about the traffic situation? I know it's right by the tunnel, but I'm not sure you can go from Broome. I'm just looking at the map. Not sure you can go from Broome directly into the tunnel, or can you? You have to turn. But does that get really crowded on Fridays, that street? Because that would be my only concern, I think, is tunnel traffic on a Friday.
So you can use the side street, you can still get to the tunnel. Where we're trying to block off is the bike lane, you know where the bike lane is, and the kind of, it looks like a park area, just that strip for the next 4 hours. For those 4 hours.
Oh, so, okay, so just a curb lane closure, not a full
Yes.
street. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm looking at your application now. Okay, that's a little more clear. Okay, my bad. Okay, so the street would remain open to traffic.
The park will remain open to the community. I'm sorry, I was just answering the question.
So you're not using the park, or no?
No. We won't be inconveniencing the community. The goal is to invite the community to see what we're about. We're here. A lot of people don't know that we're a school and that we're actually right across the street. Everyone knows about Chelsea, but Broome is not as known. So we're trying to create a presence and show you guys where we are, so that more families would feel, to be able to kind of refer where the door is and where BSA is.
Okay, and so are you gonna have barriers around where you're closing off, just to provide protection from like the cars and traffic?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so like police style barriers, like the big
Yes.
glass. Okay.
Yes.
And what are like the elements you're gonna have in the curb lane? You're just gonna have people cooking out?
It would just be a grill, and there'll be about 3 tables. There'll be a giveaway table. We're gonna have snow cones and popcorn. And then there'll be a craft table. So the setup is 2 small tables for each setup, kind of like an L shape. And then there'll also be staff to man those tables. We'll also have all staff will be, they'll have staff shirts. And so you'll be able to identify them, and everyone is having a training so that people know exactly who's who.
Okay. And are you aware you have to leave a 5-foot pedestrian lane minimum, hopefully more on the sidewalks so people can walk by?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions in the room? How long has the school been there? I should probably know, but I'm just curious.
For a new charter, give me 1 second to confirm.
Just asking how long the school's been there.
What?
I was curious. She's looking it up. I think. Lori's saying over a decade.
Yes, over a decade.
Okay. Okay, I don't see any comments in the room. I'm going to promote, 1 sec, let me promote Darlene, who has her hand raised.
Just a question, how large is the school? How many students?
Question. So currently we have 302 students. Our incoming students that we're inviting to this community barbecue, we have 60 ninth graders and 25 10th graders. The number is still rising, but we're sending out our RSVPs in 2 weeks. And so we don't, according to the data, we don't expect it to fluctuate too much.
Say how many students total, not the ones that are invited, how big is your?
Oh, we have 302 students currently.
300 students?
302 students.
302.
And Geronda, how many people do you expect to come to the event, or how many are you thinking?
That's what she was saying.
Yes, so we're inviting about 75 families. So about 150 people for the people that we invited. For the community, we are budgeting, well, in our budget, we're budgeting for 75 people. So our thing is once the food run out, we will close shop, begin to clean up the giveaways as they run out, that kind of thing. So.
Cool. Okay, Darlene.
Somebody sponsoring this event beside your school? I mean, somebody paying for this?
The Durham BSA.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I think Darlene had her hand raised as well. Darlene? Please go ahead. You look unmuted, but we can't hear you if you're talking, Darlene. Okay. If you have any other question or comment, maybe put it in the chat because we cannot hear or see you. Definitely. It's not coming through. Having a lot of Zoom issues tonight.
There's an update.
Is there?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're still trying to speak, we cannot hear or see you.
Darlene, I would love to answer your question if you want to put it in the chat.
Okay, let's give it a little more. Okay.
I wonder if Darlene can hear us.
No, she just typed, I'm sorry.
She is.
I don't know.
No problem.
Maybe if you want to stay on, Geronda, for like 5 minutes, we can go into our business session and then we can reopen it if Darlene's able to get her Zoom working. Are you okay to stay on for the next 5 minutes? Okay. So we'll move to our business session and then if it, here we go. Oh, that's from Erica. Okay. Very useful. No, very.
Oh, thank you.
Very useful info. Yeah. All right, let's move to our business session. If Darlene gets it working, we can flip back to public session. So we'll start. Thanks again, Geronda. You can, I think, go on mute for now if you don't mind hanging around for just a second.
No problem, will do.
So Furby was here. Let's go back to that. Let me pull my notes up. I mean, usually these things in the Astor Place Plaza are pretty well done. I don't love the 2 a.m.
Yeah, that bothered me. 2 a.m.
So why don't we just flag that in our reso to, I mean, it's in 2 days and here we're with the same problem of stuff coming up at the last second. But Michael, I don't know if you want to just flag that to Village Alliance. I don't know if they usually like to have stuff start that early, so maybe if we can convince them to push that back. Michael's nodding. But otherwise, I mean, if it's a hand drill, I assume it's not that loud, but who knows how long they're going to be going.
Everything is relative, right?
Yeah. So otherwise, I think it's fine. Again, these are generally pretty well run with the Village Alliance. Do we have any other comments on this? So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oppose, abstain? Okay.
Usually Michael abstains.
Michael, are you recusing? You're on mute.
I don't think I have to
Yes.
recuse on this one.
You don't have to. Oh, it's only for stuff put on actually by the Village Alliance.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're unanimous.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Next up, Kendra Scott Food Truck. Only 250 samples, which is good, I guess, relative to how these things go sometimes. It is a store in the district, which I prefer over someone who has no tie to it. I think we should note the daylighting.
Daylighting
specifically.
truck, yeah.
Anything else?
Problem is 3:30.
Daylighting
3:30
is
a.m.
allow enough visual.
No, 3:30 p.m.
Scope of
PM?
access as you're approaching the crosswalk for pedestrians or other cars or anything.
Because my A looks at the pizza.
So if there's something right at the crosswalk, you
My A
can't
looks
see
at the, like, he looks like a name, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's 3:30 p.m.
PM, okay, good.
But they're gonna hold the spot starting at 10.
Yeah, since AM the day before,
Yeah.
10 a.m.
No, it's 10 a.m. the morning of.
10 a.m. the day.
The morning of.
Okay.
All right, so we'll approve and note the daylighting. Anything else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain? Okay. Okay, let me briefly reopen the public session. So I think Darlene typed her comment. So I don't know if that's something you've looked at, but that might be.
That was something that we did look at. However, during that hour, so we're data driven. So during those hours from 12 to 4, yes, it is during a Friday. However, traffic is not as hectic on that particular curbside as the tunnel is on the opposite side, which is why we chose the curbside, just that little part. And it's closer to the school and access to the school, just in case for the bathroom or any other things that we needed for the barbecue.
Okay, so you didn't, but you didn't look at Little Six, like right across Broome, on the other side of Broome? Which is
On
like on the, yeah, like right across from, not across Sixth Ave, right across Broome from the entrance. There's that little Sixth Ave there where the city bikes are.
the little park.
Yeah, it's next to the park, yeah.
So, no, okay, I'm guessing, no. We just wanted the curb, so if it's not what I'll look at it.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Because I don't think that gets a lot of traffic ever, that little block.
Okay.
And it's right across from the school.
But isn't it still the walkway? Cars can still park there? It's in front of no? Or are you saying directly in front of the school where the building is next door? Where the apartment building is next door?
I'll pull it up really quick here.
Okay.
I think Darlene's saying right here, where the city bikes are. That's Little Six right there, that little street here that I'm going up and down.
So that was our request. Our request is right in front of Chelsea. The request, where the bike lane is, where that curbside, that's the request. The request is within the curbside, so that we're not blocking off too much traffic, because it's not a lot of traffic that comes right there in that walkway.
Oh. Didn't get that.
Okay, but it says Broome and not Little Six, so is it on Broome or Little Six? Just so I'm just.
So when doing the application, it doesn't allow you to just pick just the two side streets. You have to pick the whole portion.
Okay, so you actually want to have it on Little Six, but you weren't able to do it in SAPO?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let us flag that to SAPO. There should be a way to do that. And we'll make sure that you can get it for the right one, because I think everyone's agreeing that slice of street makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay.
It just wouldn't let me continue the application when I was trying to.
Yeah. Darlene, I think since you can't talk through Zoom, I think what Geronda's saying is they didn't see an option in the system to pick Little Six and only allow them to pick Sixth Ave, which obviously is not what they want to do. They don't split it out in the system as a separate block. So we just need to talk to SAPO. Who did you speak with?
I didn't speak to anyone. It was while doing the application.
Yeah, it's the automated application system. So let us help connect you to someone there. We'll make sure you get it because there's a little bit of time.
Yes.
We'll make sure you get the right spot there.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
I see what the problem is. Yeah, it's the SAPO system. I think doesn't have that technically as a separate block in their system, which is kind of an issue. Okay. Let's go back.
Pair of thieves. Pair of thieves.
Yeah. I think this one's fine, right?
The sock giveaway.
10,000 pairs, but they're only giving away 200. When they first said 10,000, I was like, oh, that's a lot.
Not give a sock.
All right. All in favor of this one?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Use? Okay. Next is Nest. I mean, these are getting to ones that we don't like, but they always get approved, typically.
700 attendees.
Well, this is
I think
where we made
we
a note
should-
to talk about like the meeting.
I think we need to further press with SAPO that, they need to clarify the rules a bit more, because I do get what he was saying. Like SAPO has a tendency, like if you don't have a tent and it's only rope and stanchions, we've come across this before, they'll automatically just qualify it as a small. Because I remember when they presented to us, they said, we asked that question and they said, oh, it doesn't necessarily matter what, the attendees list is going to be automatically generated based on the size of event that's automatically assigned. So like if it's a small event, you don't have the ability to put like 1,000 attendees to what's classified as a small event.
What's a SAPO problem?
Yeah. So I mean, I think we should say, otherwise it's a normal one. If, typically these, if we denied in the past, they still happened. I think we should just say, look, it looks like a normal truck event, but we need to call out this issue again of size. I do think it would take a rule change potentially to rectify it.
Because if they're having 700 people, I think it's fair to charge them more money.
Yeah, because they're paying 3,100. They're paying 3,100 for that many people. Like
Cost per head.
11,000 more reasonable cost.
Well, what is the purpose of this event anyway?
I mean, these are all just promotional events.
Yeah, for Nest fragrance candies.
The other thing that I would be interested.
Ice cream, and they were giving ice cream out.
The other thing that I would be interested to do is maybe we can get someone from the office to run through the SAPO database, because I don't have access. But I would be curious to see, like on this particular block, the total number of food truck applications that you get every year. It's got to be like 50 plus. It's kind of wild for this block. It's like everyone wants to be by Sephora, everyone wants to be on Broadway.
Bloomingdale's or Sephora. I mean, those are different blocks.
So
there's stores that everybody wants to be.
Yeah. So why don't we just say like, look, we'll approve because we understand this is by rule, you're being approved, but we need to call out, the number of overall events at this location and the classification issues, which we've raised in the past. Are people okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Taking notes here. And I think like the last application, for instance, is upgrading it to medium, which I think is more appropriate for all of these. Okay, and I see your note, Darlene. We'll give her that name. Next, living proof. I mean, I think this is an identical reso. It's pretty much the exact same issue, except it's a cart instead of a truck. But the exact same problems, the exact same event classification size, exact same location, basically. So should we just do kind of the same?
Yes.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, accused. Okay, so we'll do that with the same call outs as above. Okay, number 6, Bumble and Bumble. I think we kind of talked about what we're gonna do for each of these no-shows today, which are the same issue of problem vendors not showing up. I think we have to highlight that they've never engaged with us, never showed up. They continue to hold disruptive events, without the ability for us to provide any input. I think we should continue to call on SAPO to start recognizing these problem actors and essentially denying everything until they start engaging. And we need to mention DSNY enforcement for the events that go on without SAPO approval.
But I thought, when Tampa was here, didn't they say we have the ability to say no and send them back to the drawing board?
We can deny in the system, but then SAPO can always ultimately approve.
Oh, and say
Which is what used to happen when there were
We
people
had
that
our,
showed up
yeah.
that were commercial events, and we tried to deny kind of every commercial event, not everyone, but a lot of commercial events, and then SAPO would still approve.
Right.
I do think SAPO will listen more for these ones that refuse to even engage or show up. At least the others that are commercial events will hear from us, sometimes take our ideas. But if they're just refusing to show up, I think that's pretty good grounds for SAPO to just start denying everything.
Yeah, may I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, may I propose when they make the application, it's mandatory. They make a phone call 2 days or 3 days or 1 day to show up. If they don't show up, then let us know in advance. By that time, they are pretty sure. Are they warm up to show up, or they are just checking out? So make them phone call. If they don't call, that means they are out.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding is the office is doing everything they can to try to contact them, and they're just not responding.
Let them contact us, not we. We come to them. They should come to us.
Well, I think, yeah, I agree. But I mean, that's the whole issue is we want to hear from them, and they, despite the office reaching out multiple times, they just never respond to anything. So I would love to have contact from them in any way. But that's the whole issue. Yeah.
Maybe put a sentence like this. If they don't make a phone call in 2 days before the meeting, equivalent, they cop out. That's it. We don't listen their show up.
Oh, well, I think it's still worth having them in the agenda so we can still discuss even the no-shows, because sometimes we want to have more detailed resos on the no-shows. So I would prefer to leave them in the agenda.
And the public also has an ability to speak.
Correct.
Even though they
And
no
the public
shows.
can see which ones have not shown up. Yeah. Okay, so all in favor of deny with those specific call outs?
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, recuse? Unanimous. Okay, denim tiers. This one was a little weird, confusing to me, but I think I got it now. So it's basically, thinking of it, it's like a pop-up outdoor dining in conjunction with, they're planning on occupying the curb lane. just like a shed basically for a day.
And I think wherever they can get on the sidewalk while leaving 5 feet. I don't think
Yeah.
the sidewalk's very wide.
Does anyone know that block very well, Spring between Thompson? They said like it's a lot of closed storefronts.
Yeah, I go down there quite often, and seems like one corner is under construction with an apartment building. But there's that bakery on the other side, on the north side, that's very popular, oftentimes a line.
Yeah. Oh, it's right by Boqueria.
Ansel.
Dominic Gansel.
Dominic
That's
Ansel.
one down, isn't it, or no?
Boqueria is 171 Spring.
So is it?
Where's Dominic Gansel? Let's see.
So if it's once,
I could be wrong.
That's 189 Spring. Yeah, that might be one block down.
okay. I must say that I didn't notice any of those blocks being particularly emptied out or,
No,
empty storefronts.
I think there are like a few empty storefronts there, but it's still like a largely residential block. Like people are still, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And the park is right there, and they're walking from 6th Ave and. Bit of Pilates.
Yeah, it's always seems pretty lively when I go by there. And yes, most of the time it is a open street where I can bike down, but not the cars.
But what do people want to say on this one? Like, does the open street
Well, it's
make it?
invitation only, pretty much invitation only. I just don't see, they seem to have security. I didn't get the impression that this was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Where
I'm
we?
happy that they're coming and not just
Yeah.
being like, oh, it's an open street and we'll just spill out of the store if needed. I think it's like.
Which has been a huge issue before with lots of stores and so on.
I wrote down, why not let people mingle inside the store?
I think they will, but it's really small. And if they're inviting 200 people, I know it's throughout the day, but like there could be
Yeah. And they are, yeah, I mean, they're on, yeah. I think it's okay. We'll have to see, we'll make sure it goes well, but yeah.
There is amplified sound.
Yeah, there
The
is.
beverages.
There is. They said it would be off by 7.
Alcohol, right?
That they would get a
Alcohol,
permit.
if I remember correctly, alcohol, yes.
wine and beer.
With certified bartenders.
Well, yeah, they have to do that, yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so are we okay?
Yep.
All right, I do want to check the SLA rule that Pete had referenced. Check with Donna. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, oppose, abstain, recuse? Okay.
Thanks for doing the voting properly.
Oh, you know, I gotta do the.
So easy to just slide over. Everybody okay, move on. But
No, people should feel free to oppose if they want.
Yes.
So let's see. Public theater.
Good thing.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, I like supporting them, cultural organizations.
Absolutely.
I think that's gonna be a good event. Are we,
I think they're trying to do something.
while the Shakespeare in the park, yeah. All right, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Oppose, abstain?
Not in favor of the food trucks, but that's another story.
You still want to vote to approve or no?
Yes.
Okay. Soho, no shows, so that's a deny. We can note that the sponsor seems to be in Brooklyn and not in the community as well.
Oh, check it out, make sure.
Yeah, we can double check, but that's what Lori said, so. All in favor of the deny?
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, recuse, okay. All right, I think Stanley Barbie, it's gonna be the same strong deny with many points that we talked about. It's going to be, I think, the same for the Bobby Brown as well. So for number 10, for the Stanley Barbie, all in favor of the deny with all those points that we discussed?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, recuse. Okay, and then for number 11, we'll do the same. So all in favor of deny for the Bobby Brown, number 11? Aye.
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 Abstain, recuse. We'll have the same points for all of those.
I would say just on the Barbie one, it's like,
But we need to note like an actual safety issue on
we have like the 40 Crosby thing, we have the construction on the block, we have the production that's sneaking in. Like the Bobby Brown and the Bumble, those are just problematic sponsors. I feel like this one, the Stanley one, I have it all written down, but
Yeah, it's long going.
it's like.
Oh, we also need to talk about on this one specifically, they tried to do it as a production event. So this one's going to be more involved, I think, than the others. Okay. Tatcha, number 12. We okay on that one?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, recuse. Okay. And then BSA,
Yes.
we need to note what seems to be their intended location. So with that note, are we all okay?
I was curious as to if they have 302 students, why only 150 of them were invited?
I think it's just.
For the new students.
Oh, new.
The incoming ones to introduce families.
So let's note Little Sixth Ave is what they said they actually wanted to do it on. And then approve with that note, and let's make sure to reach out to SAFO and let's pass them the Hudson bid contact info as well. In favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, recuse. Okay, and then we got to do the renewals. Give me 1 second here, trying to. Trying to copy and paste a few things. Okay. Okay, we're gonna calling out any of these?
This is a problem. 914, the village trip, sponsor the village trip, West 4th Street between Barrow and 6th Avenue, full street closure. That's
Yeah, I think
4th Street is.
last year. Yeah, it's like a big festival.
Yeah, West 4th Street is very traveled road. And they should do it on Barrow, which doesn't have that much traffic at all, instead of West 4th Street.
Do you want to ask them to come in August?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, like for the big festivals, we sometimes ask them to come even if they're renewal. Like we'll do that for San Gennaro. Okay, I'm fine with that. If you want
To coming in?
to lay that over, if we want to lay that over for August. Anything else? We can't vote on the last one. Okay. So are we okay with approval except for that one and lay that till ask them to come in August?
Yes.
Charlton Street Festival sponsor.
See, is reading, you're reading?
Yes, I'll make sure. No Broadway stuff.
No.
So Astor Place between Broadway and Lafayette. And NYU Children's Halloween, yes. So the only one that I would question is 14th, the village trip.
Okay, so I think it's useful to hear about that. Like we sometimes ask the larger events to come even for repeats, as I said, so I would be okay voting to lay that over to August and ask them to come. Okay, so all in favor of approval of the FY renewals with the layover for the village trip? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, recuse? Okay.
All right.
Good.
Great meeting,
Thanks, everybody.
always.
I actually can't even remember now if we heard from Village Trip last year, so I think it'll be good.
I think they had nice applications today.
Yeah. All right, thanks, everybody, for joining. Good night.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.